This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioners Clubhouse on the LCC Network for our special NFL Mock Draft Edition episode. With me today, I've got Jameson and Cody on the show. How's it going, y'all?
Howdy, y'all.
Hey!
Hey, hey guys, it's we're back here. First round of mock draft for the NFL that's taking place on this Thursday. Next week we'll be doing another episode where we talk about what actually happened, the fantasy impact of that, what we expect. Guys, it's been pretty player focused recently because of free agency and the NFL draft, but I think we're definitely going to move a little bit more towards some specific LCC content. Maybe into May once we get through all the draft stuff here. But this is an exciting time, guys. It's really exciting. I know that, in our other league, we got the rookie draft and everything coming up pretty early. So, I know we've been pretty invested in this recently with research and whatnot. So try to pass on some of our insights to you guys. So are you ready? I mean, ready to get through this? We've got all the 30 picks for the actual draft taking place on Thursday.
Yep. Let's do it.
All right, cool. I'll play this this sound drop that you left up for us last time, Pat.
Ooh, I like that. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. That's my favorite Madden. Oh, if I haven't said that before, I think I have.
Yeah.
2005. All right, guys. So here we go. First round mock draft. Number one, this obviously Bengals, like Joe Burrow, quarterback. I don't think anybody expects anything different. We don't expect him to trade down. They desperately need a franchise quarterback to take over for Andy Dalton. So Joe Burrow it is number one. Number two, Chase Young, defensive lineman from Ohio State here at Washington. Again, they've drafted a quarterback in the first round last year. I don't think, but they're not going to go quarterback this early, we don't think, or trade out and miss out on a talent like Chase Young. And these two picks were unanimous, right, from all three of us.
Yeah. Yeah, those were pretty easy to hit off of. I mean, Joe Burrow, I don't think anyone in America believes he'll go anywhere but number one overall. Justin Herbert, you can say what you want about Justin Herbert as a quarterback, but I'm sorry.
Chase Young?
Yeah, Chase Young at number two. So I'm getting ahead of myself. We were talking about top three, but Chase Young is pretty much everything I've read. He's going to go there at number two. But then number three is the interesting one because we had some stuff going on.
Yeah, some discussion. I think Cody, you kind of led this charge here with Justin Herbert, and I have seen this a lot too. Number three, we have the Chargers trading up from number 6 with the Lions, or swapping with the Lions into the 3 spot, drafting Justin Herbert, avoiding the possibly injured Tua from Alabama, and making Justin Herbert their franchise quarterback. Do you guys think he starts over Tyrod Taylor if he is drafted there on week 1?
I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of either of those guys personally. Like, I think Justin Herbert is overrated. I said it last year before the college football season even started. I said it during the season. I've said it after the season. I'm just not a big fan of Justin Herbert. I really don't believe in him as a true NFL starting quarterback.
These fighting words. No, I think he's. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. He's definitely got the arm talent and everything, but we'll just have to. I think people fall in love with traits, and people are going to fall in love with this trait. If Tua wasn't hurt, Tua would be the no-brainer there. But it brings that level. I also think at some point Love's going to go somewhere, so he would be an option right here. I think some would move up to grab him as well. So.
Okay. Number 4, we got for the Giants. The Giants, Gettleman never trades back, so we don't expect him to come out of the spot. Tristan Wirfs, offensive lineman. We kind of went back and forth with a few guys here, settled on offensive line. Number 5, we had the Dolphins sitting still and getting their franchise of the future, Tua, from Alabama. Right there. Not sure how quickly he plays if he is drafted there, but I think that might be a good spot for him long term, especially if they can use some of these picks to build some weapons around him, which we have them doing a little bit later in the draft here. Number 6, this is the Lions trading back from 3 to get Jeff Okudah, cornerback. Darius Slay left town in the trade with the Eagles. So it definitely doesn't hurt the Lions to have a true number 1 there that I think people are kind of comparing, and maybe because they went to the same school, but maybe to like a Marcus Lattimore type guy. Wait, that doesn't sound right.
Did you say Marcus Lattimore?
I didn't mean Marcus Lattimore.
Wait, I was like, I don't think he said that, but I'm pretty sure he did say that at the same time. Like,
I meant Lattimore in New Orleans. What's his first name? I don't remember his first name. Marshawn Lattimore. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, sorry about that. It sounded weird when I said it. I was like, that's not the right name. They're at number 6 with the Lions. And of course, and because of the Giants taking Tristan Wirfs, that leaves number 7, Isaiah Simmons, to the Carolina Panthers. Oh my God. If that happens.
That's right. Oh my God.
how excited we would be to have Isaiah Simmons. Personally, I don't think it happens, but oh my gosh, if that did, I can't even get over it. I'm just excited just looking at it here on the screen right now as even a slight possibility.
I'm kind of with you. We'll see. The only other team that might get him ahead of the Panthers is probably, in my opinion, the Giants. I don't know, unless someone trades up, right? Unless someone makes some kind of trades up, and this is the guy they absolutely want. I don't know if there's really any other team that would take him.
And the reason we went offensive line, so Cody, you brought it up that they've been building offensive weapons the last couple of years. Saquon, Daniel Jones. Then you protect their franchise quarterback, and they signed Blake Martinez in free agency. So maybe they might feel a little more comfortable moving away from a linebacker here and opting for an anchor on the offensive line.
Agreed. I also I think Simmons could go to the Lions.
He could.
For sure.
He could.
Yeah.
Number 8, Cardinals. This is Jedrick Wills, offensive line. They've got a lot of offensive weapons. They got to protect Kyler Murray. Not a lot of fantasy relevance here, though. C.J. Henderson at number 9 to the Jaguars, cornerback. They've lost Jalen Ramsey, A.J. Boye, Yannick Ngakoue. That defense is hemorrhaging talent over the last season and a half. So we expect them to build pieces through the draft. Number 10, the Browns, Mekhi Becton, offensive lineman to protect. They've had Joe Thomas retire. They need to really protect Baker Mayfield there, give him some time and utilize those offensive weapons, right, that they have in the backfield and on the edges. Number 11, this is where we see some fantasy relevance. Henry Ruggs to the Jets as the first wide receiver off the board. So ahead of guys like Jerry Jeudy, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. Do you like the landing spot here for Henry Ruggs?
I do, yeah. I mean, there's no other receiver there, honestly. I think he could easily come in and be like, maybe I'm reaching because I'm never that high on rookie receivers, but like he could get up there between like borderline wide receiver 2, 3 type level, depending on how the quarterback play is over there in New York. I mean, he could have a pretty good year because I don't see anyone else really competing for that spot.
I don't think he's the best receiver, but I definitely think that that's the type of receiver the Jets will be looking for.
That's fair. They did lose Robbie Anderson in free agency to the Panthers. He's got a similar style. Number 12, Raiders, Derek Brown. So a lot of mocks. He's a top 10 pick. We had him falling to number 12 here. Number 13, Andrew Thomas, offensive lineman. Patrick, this was something that you championed hard for in our discussion. So this was a consensus pick. Not everybody agreed on every spot. but some guys champion hard for certain players. And Patrick, you want an offensive lineman here, citing that they lost Joe Staley, right?
Yeah. I
And you're
mean,
really looking for an anchor.
I think they're one of those teams that doesn't really need a lot of players in order to compete next season. And to me, losing Joe Staley is a key part of your offense, especially when Joe Staley was healthy. I obviously I would take Becton here if he would have been there. I would have taken Wills if he was there. I would have taken Wirfs if he was there. But all of those guys had been taken up to this point. So to me, Andrew Thomas was the next best thing. Without them trading out of this pick and maybe getting some other value somewhere else. And that was another thing that we had talked about as a possibility is maybe the 49ers trading back. But I think we stuck with Andrew Thomas here just because of the fact that they do need help in offensive line for the next season.
And so number 14, this is Tampa. This is a team that we didn't know a whole lot to do with, but we ultimately decided on DeAndre Swift as a running back. So the first running back off the board, ahead of Jonathan Taylor, ahead of AJ Dillon, to Patrick's point. Just some conversation we had off the show, jokingly, but DeAndre Swift from Georgia to Tampa. 15, this is Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver from Alabama. Broncos obviously need some talent. I mean, they've got a couple solid guys there with Cortland Sutton and Hamilton there at receiver, but they don't have a number one at all. And if they're gonna roll with Drew Lock there at quarterback, I think they need to give him some talent. And then number 16, Kayvon Chaisson. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Linebacker. Yeah, linebacker from, I believe, from LSU. Be on the edge and help with some of the pass rush there in Atlanta. Guys, in the top 16 here, is there anyone else that you think is maybe surprising in these spots? You do like, don't like? Is there anybody you want to talk about before we move on, like from a fantasy perspective or otherwise?
The only one that surprised me probably, two that surprised me, Isaiah Simmons. To me, it's just too good to be true. I guess maybe because I am a Panther fan, there's bias there. I'm automatically assuming we're not going to get the guy I truly want, and we're going to go get a defensive tackle, which I don't think that's the end of the world if we go get a defensive lineman with our first pick, whether it's Derek Brown. I've also seen Javon Kinlaw go into Carolina in a couple mock drafts as well. I think that's just some homers out there who are wanting Javon Kinlaw to stay local, but we'll see. I think to me that was one that was a little surprising to me in a good way. And then DeAndre Swift to Tampa Bay, like we had talked about. Like I don't know, maybe they do value him as the number one running back in the draft, but I guess we'll find out here soon.
I mean. Go ahead, Cody.
You can go. No, you got it.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say, from an offensive perspective, the Bucs. I mean, they're like, when you look at their offense, they're really like maybe an offensive lineman or a running back away from being what you expect to be potentially a top 5 offense, right? Tons of weapons. Tom Brady. I mean, if they get a solid running back in there, I mean, this could be a lethal offense. It's always been solid when Jameis wasn't turning the ball over, but now it could be dangerous with a great running back.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I actually do not like Andrew Thomas with the 49ers. I think Andrew Thomas is going to be picked a little bit later. Fantasy-wise, man, I'm extremely interested to see what Joe Burrow does, like, from a fantasy perspective. Like, I just want to see how is he quick to go to QB1, or is he, does he take his lumps his rookie year?
Does he finish higher or lower than Kyler Murray in fantasy? So Kyler Murray finished 7, I think, last year in our league.
I would say lower right now.
You think
if it's 7?
Okay.
If it's 7,
I agree. I agree. Because Kyler Murray has the rushing floor, right?
Yeah.
Which is what made him.
I'm the rookie of the year. I'm the rookie of the year.
Right. So I agree with that. Number 17, so the second half of the draft here. This is the Cowboys. Xavier McKinney. This is the safety from. So 1 second, don't make me lie. From Alabama. That's right.
Yep.
So Jeff Heath is on a 1-year deal, I think now. He's older. He's not that relevant anyway. And then they've lost Byron Jones in free agency, so they need somebody there in the secondary. 18, the Dolphins. CD Lamb, wide receiver from Oklahoma here. They drafted Tua. They've got these picks. We think they're going to, use them a lot on the offense, right? Their defense has actually been fairly solid. So we expect the offense to be built here through the draft. Number 19, this is a pick that, much to Cody disagreeing with the Niners pick of Andrew Thomas, I don't necessarily love here, but you guys like this a lot, and we have seen it mocked. The Raiders at 19 getting Jordan Love at quarterback. So possibly their next franchise quarterback to replace Derek Carr. That's a very exciting way to shake up the draft, I think, if that were to happen.
Yeah.
To have a quarterback here. Because I've seen him a lot with like
battle.
the Patriots or the Saints. Yeah. They're with Derek Carr. I mean, he's Las Vegas. They're looking for stars, right, to sell tickets and to anchor a team that is relocating, right? So this would definitely be a way to do that, I think.
I personally don't think he drops that low. I think he goes in the top 10, though. I think someone trades up to get him. It's just who.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So number 20 here, Javon Kinlaw. Patrick, you mentioned him earlier, from South Carolina at number 20, defensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've lost Yannick Ngakoue, like we mentioned earlier, via trade and need to rebuild on that side of the ball. Number 21, Eagles, Justin Jefferson. This is a team that absolutely needs a wide receiver. I love Justin. Well, I mean, I love any receiver here, fantasy-wise. Alshon Jeffrey's had a lot of success when he's healthy. And they've got a great quarterback, a great coach. Justin Jefferson could see a lot of relevance here, I think, in this team. And then number 22, the Vikings, T. Higgins at wide receiver. I haven't seen a lot of mocks with him this high, but then again, we've seen a lot of guys like last year picked early that weren't necessarily this high, and vice versa. We're all close to Clemson in this area. We've seen how T. Higgins can play. And Stephon Diggs is gone, right? This is a team that needs some offensive talent too. So what do you guys think about any of those picks there? Besides Jordan Love.
I like the Jefferson pick just because of I think they prefer bigger receivers, and they still got Deshaun Jackson, so I think he's the one that's still going to take the top off the defense still until they can address that spot. And I just think Jefferson's the type of receiver they really, really like. And I think they get rid of Alshon. I think he gets cut or traded. I think the Jags going Kinlaw. You get Kinlaw that late at 20.
That's a steal.
Got a steal. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
for real, dude. Kinlaw is a dude. Like, honestly, to me, I don't see. Again, maybe we can. Maybe it's bias involved here. I don't see a big difference between Kinlaw compared to what's his
Derek
face?
Brown.
Yeah,
Derek Brown.
I cannot think of his name. To Derek Brown. I don't see a big difference in talent when you compare those two.
Derek Brown's just Kinlaw's a little rawer.
He is.
Yeah.
He's not quite as. He's not as good with his hands and whatnot. He's just like pure athleticism, beating people. Can he beat the best? Like, I mean, he definitely relies more on athleticism than technique.
But I think the technique
I agree
thing is something that you can work on, whereas the athleticism.
No joke. Yeah, but
yeah, I think career-wise, they're going to have, assuming they're both healthy, right? And they're both put in situations where the staff and the team is cohesive and everything. I think their careers are going to be very similar, honestly, overall.
I think Kinlaw's going to have a better career. I like Kinlaw personally better. But at this point in time, Derek Brown's coming in the league better.
So I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe you guys might know. I saw something that said Javon Kinlaw is 313 pounds. Did you guys see that?
No,
like 6'4", 313.
But
If he's
I wouldn't doubt
313,
it.
he's a very lean, very strong 313.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, I was shocked when I saw that. If that's true, that's unbelievable, and it speaks to his athletic ability, right? All right, we'll pick up here number 23, the Patriots. We have them going Kenneth Murray, linebacker. So once the top quarterbacks were gone, we had them drafting a linebacker here. I don't think this is a team that really doesn't move up. They're not going to throw a bunch of picks at you trying to get up and get one of these guys. So Kenneth Murray, linebacker. Saints, Yetur Gross-Motos, defensive line from, is this the guy from Penn State? Cody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is a guy, defensive line that the Saints would pair with possibly a guy like Cameron Jordan, right? They're trying to make picks to win now. They drafted a defensive tackle, I think, a year or two ago in the first round. So this is a team that's got a solid secondary and wants to rush the passer. The Vikings at 25, this is the pick they got from Buffalo. A.J. Terrell, cornerback from Clemson, right, to boast that secondary. They definitely need some help there. 26, Josh Jones, offensive line. Again, this kind of goes back to that, what we expect from them. CeeDee Lamb at number 18, Tua at number 5, building those weapons, protecting those weapons as they hopefully continue moving through their rebuild, right? Seahawks, Josh Yeech at 27. This is a defensive lineman, possibly to replace a guy like Jadeveon Clowney, right? That or any other number of talent they've had over the years as that defense has declined. Number 28, Ravens, Patrick Queen, a linebacker to replace C.J. Mosley from a couple of years back, right? They've got some linebackers in Matt Judon that pass rush, but don't have anybody that can really sit there in the middle and perform. But anyone here among these last 5 or 6 guys that we should talk a little further about? It's very defensive heavy at this part.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I think the last 10 picks are going to be heavy on, DBs, receivers,
Yeah. Okay. And last few picks here, and then we'll talk a little bit further about some particular places. Titans, Jalen Johnson. This is a cornerback to continue to improve that secondary. Packers, Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State.
Yep.
Cody? All right. Wide receiver. They desperately need someone. I can't imagine them getting out of the first 2 rounds without at least one wide receiver. I couldn't see that happening. 49ers, Cesar Ruiz. This is the center. So we've actually had them get 2 offensive line weapons here to protect Jimmy Garoppolo and to continue to allow that running game to tear apart defenses like it's done, right? Again, not a team that needs a ton of talent. We've wavered back and forth with maybe a cornerback or a wide receiver, but it is a team that looks pretty set to make another run. And then 32, Patrick, you love this pick. This is the final pick of the first round. The Chiefs getting Zach Bond, the linebacker, to replace my nemesis, Anthony Hitchens, there in the defense. What do you guys think about these last 4 picks?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, one of the ones. So I like Ayuk. I mean, it's really cool. I actually got to see him play in person when they played Colorado back in. I want to say it was mid to late September. It was a home game, Arizona State versus Colorado, and that dude, he tore it up. I had no idea who the hell that guy was. I had to ask someone there at the game, who the hell is that guy? He literally killed them. I just looked it up, 9 receptions, 122 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, he's pretty good, man, especially in some of those out routes. I mean, the guy is very quick. And then Bond is a guy who I think if any linebacker gets in the Chiefs in the first round is definitely a guy worth taking in consideration for a rookie draft because he can be the number 1 linebacker there because there's not a lot of competition. I don't think Anthony Hitchens is really worth their trouble.
God, no. God, he's not worth their trouble. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This guy. Hey, you rode him for a whole year, dude. I can commend that. At least you have the right to talk shit now.
That was a mistake, man. That was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
I'd never seen anybody ride or die with such a shitty performance for several weeks in a row. You were bound and determined to get that one good week.
Well, you know what happened is I benched him on the week that he had like 50 something points, and then I was like, know what? I'm just gonna I'm gonna leave him in there. There's not a lot of other talent on the waiver wire. I don't care. I'm just leaving him in there, and it crushed me. But I picked him too early to let him go, which is my mistake. I shouldn't have done that. That's my fault. But anyway, all right, guys. So a few questions here. That's our top 32, the first round. We didn't do a ton of trades. It's really, really difficult to imagine what teams are going to do, what they're going to package, especially in a draft like this that's being done remotely, right? Or they're not going to be in person. And so I don't think it's going to be we don't know the accuracy to which is going to take place, right? I think we can be honest about that. But at least we do try to find the weaknesses and the needs and place appropriate talents there. So with all that said, my first question for you guys is, who's going to be the most fantasy relevant rookie in this draft, like in year one in 2020?
I think it's gonna be Becton. I think he's gonna be really good. I was telling you guys earlier, obviously Cleveland's gonna have a lot of turnovers. He's naturally gonna have to make tackles. I think
He's just gonna get a lot of tackles with offensive linemen. Got it.
No, honestly, I think better question maybe offense and defensive guys. Like on the defensive side, depending on where Simmons ends up, he literally may be one of the best rookie linebackers of this year's draft. And then on top of that, especially with Carolina, because he's filling in the shoes of Luke Kuechly. But then on the offensive side of things, I'm really interested to see whichever running back ends up in Tampa. That's a guy who I'm highly interested in this draft.
Yeah.
Are you guys there?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh. It just got really quiet. Yeah, it was after I talked, it just got dead quiet for like 2 minutes.
I was ready for someone else to pick up.
What the hell?
We always talk over each other a little bit. So I normally, guys that are listening, I normally edit this out. I'm not going to be able to do it because we're doing it on YouTube this time. I normally edit these out because we talk over each other a lot because we're talking remotely, right? We can't see when someone else is going to speak. So there's a lot of these weird pauses a lot, and we edit out. But no, I agree. I think I like any running back that goes there to Tampa for sure.
I think any of the running backs have a chance to be the top scoring fantasy player.
What about, I know, Brandon, so a lot of the receivers I love too. I don't necessarily love all their places, but like Justin Jefferson, we mentioned him. T. Higgins could be great in Minnesota, and I know they love to run the ball, but I mean, if he's the number 2 behind Adam Thielen, he could be fantasy relevant to some degree. Brandon Ayuk, the number 2 in Green Bay, can also be very, very, very fantasy relevant. Besides Isaiah Simmons, any defensive players that we love? I mean, Xavier, McKinney and Dallas, Javon Kinlaw, Zach Bond. I mean, we mentioned him briefly. Patrick Queen. I mean, are these guys we feel like we could draft in the rookie draft?
I think if you're going to a second guy outside of Isaiah, I think Patrick Queen is one of those guys that can contribute immediately, especially in the right situation. And with us getting him going to the Ravens, I think that's a solid situation for him. And I think he's got a lot of help around him, so he could definitely, be a playmaker year one.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. Who's going to be the highest drafted rookie in the LCC? Isaiah Simmons?
No,
I think whatever running back goes first is going.
I think not whatever running back goes first. I think whatever running back people, at the end of the day, people are still going to look at the situation that those running backs are in. So if you get a running back that gets drafted by Kansas City versus, a running back that gets drafted by the Bucks versus a running back that gets drafted by, I don't know, the
Dolphins.
Steelers. The Dolphins. We'll just say the Dolphins. You're going to obviously pick the one from Kansas City, even though it was probably drafted last out of the three. I think this situation is really, because I think there's really three running backs right this minute that you feel very comfortable in saying that all three are going to be fantasy relevant this coming year. I think that's KJ Dobbins. I think that is DeAndre Swift, and I think that's Jonathan Taylor. The fourth back, you got a couple guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire or like Cam Akers are both pretty good. I know you like AJ Brown, but
or AJ. Patrick likes AJ Dillon.
Yeah,
AJ Dillon. That's why. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be all about situation, because even if you look back, 3 years ago or so, 2 or 3 years ago, tell me when Hunt came out. Hunt got drafted pretty high, did he not, in the rookie draft by Jordan? And he got drafted, fourth round, fifth round by Kansas City.
Yeah, something like that.
He was a third round pick in Kansas City, but he was drafted in both of our rookie drafts. You
start getting that buzz around that player, and maybe it's a little different this year with everything going on with the corona, so you might not get that same type of buzz going into the same season. But most of the time, those guys, man, you know who they are. You know who they're gonna be. Like, people are raving about them. I remember I drafted Darius Leonard, just because I heard a lot about him, and I heard a lot about who was the other linebacker? Who's the linebacker that played for Carolina?
Shaq Thompson?
No, Pat. No. I'm talking about the Gamecocks.
Oh.
Not Slay. Patrick.
Pat. Who is that?
Hang on, I couldn't think of it either. You're thinking of
Sky Moore.
Sky Moore, yes.
Sky Moore. Yeah. So both of them were getting a lot of buzz, but people were, Leonard got a little bit more buzz. Plus, he got taken in the second round that year, so I ended up drafting him. But point being, it's all about, like, those camps allow you to know which guys are breaking out. And I think at the end of the day, there's about 5 running backs. And once you start hearing the buzz around camps, if there's any camps or anything of that nature to prep for the season, which I believe there is, even if they delay, they're going to have some type of camp to get people in shape. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it could change, and I definitely think it's going to be a running back. There's going to be some solid receivers. You got Ruggs and Jerry and things of that nature, but I always think it's tough for a receiver to contribute at a high level right away. I don't think it's hard for a running back.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's certainly easier for a running back. We haven't seen it from receivers a lot since 2014 or so. I mean, we saw a little bit last year with A.J. Brown, and Marquise Brown had his moments, but it isn't as common as a running back for sure, which just kind of seems to step in and hit the ground running. Any guys here that are not in our first round that could jump up? So, I mean, easy picks for guys like Taylor, right? Anyone else you think that might pick on day one? We don't have Denzel Mims or.
Yeah, I like Denzel. I like Josh Jones from Houston. Oh no, we got him. Shoot, not Josh Jones.
Yeah, we got him at 26.
Yeah. Okay. Word.
What about our other running back?
A couple,
man?
do you think? You mean J.K. Dobbins?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were about to say A.J. Dillon.
I like.
I
like KJ.
I was wondering if that's what you were thinking, dude.
I like that.
No.
What is that guy's name? Ezra Cleveland, the tackle from Boise State. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah. I've seen mocks with him in the first round level.
Yeah. I like.
Yeah, there's definitely out there.
I don't know. I like that Ross Blacklock from TCU, that D tackle. I think he could slip in the first.
Yep. So you got Jeff Gladney, the cornerbacker, that could easily slip into the first, I think. So yeah, there's definitely some picks there that will be
That
there. I think
Marlon Davison.
this is
I
a
think-
very
JJ Taylor from Arizona. No, I'm just kidding.
JJ Taylor.
Yeah, I was. He got
I
real
was like, I don't
quiet.
know who that is.
Austin Jackson, USC tackle.
Yeah, I actually seen some
Travion
mocks
Diggs.
with him.
Trayvon Diggs from the corner from Bama.
Cornerback, Bama. Yep, I've seen that. Well, yeah, there's a lot there. This is a really deep draft, so I'm excited. Next week, guys, we're actually going to do a recap of fantasy relevant picks from the draft. Right, we're not going to recap the whole draft, just what spots we liked, what spots we don't like, guys that we might be looking at in the rookie draft, where they might go in our rookie draft. Right, we're going to do a little bit of discussion next week. So definitely tune in for that. But this is a really, really deep draft, guys. I think, especially since we're starting from the ground up this year, right? Which means anyone you draft are going to have, unless we change the rules, at least 2 or 3 more years. There's a lot of rookie talent to look for. There's a lot of depth that we can look at. So I'm excited. Any closing words from you guys before we get out?
Yeah, I want to shout out Matt. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Matt.
Oh, happy birthday. Yeah, here.
If you want to crown them, then crown their.
There you go, Matt. Happy birthday. How old is he? Do you know?
28 years old.
28.
The big 2-8.
old man.
That's one of those you celebrate.
Celebrate. Well, happy birthday, Matt.
That's when you
All right, guys.
celebrate.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Adios.
Saya.